the same time to do something like this, and I'm so appreciative of my friends that came out to do this. So I just want to take a moment to introduce all the people that are here. Most of you recognize, but probably one of the most important guys that's here today. If it wasn't for him, none of this would have happened. Larry Kasanoff is the executive producer of Mortal Kombat. He's also the president and CEO for Black Belt TV. He has produced multi-million, if not billion-dollar franchises: Terminator, True Lies. He does animation for Lego, 4D rides for Marvel, like so much stuff. This guy is just a genius. He loves martial arts, and he just keeps moving things forward to take it to another level. So let's give a big round of applause to the executive producer, Larry Kasanoff. Who, by the way, and Larry will tell you this if you ask him, he has taught me everything I know in martial arts. You ask me that. Of course, our next guy goes without saying. Not only was he Mortal Kombat 1 and 2, Beverly Hills Ninja, tons and tons of movies, TV shows, Hong Kong movies with Jackie Chan, like the list goes on and on for this guy. And Street Fighter, that's right. But you know him as Liu Kang from Mortal Kombat. It is Robin Shou. Sitting right next to him, the good-looking gentleman right there, of course, Linden Ashby, who played Johnny Cage, also Teen Wolf. Again, a list of credits I couldn't even take the rest of the night to tell you. Phenomenal actor, great guy. I had the opportunity to actually train him for a couple of years after the film, because he punched me in the head during a scene, and he felt so bad he said I should let you train me. That's a true story. He actually did punch me in the head, and the look on his face was like,
yeah, well, trust me, movie kung fu and real life martial arts are two completely different things, and he let me beat him up on screen, not so much in the dojo.
But a great friend, a great guy. Let's hear for Linden Ashby. In Mortal Kombat 2, so I kind of like him, but I kind of hate him as well. But not only did he do that, but many of you don't know this. Before I was a 4-time national champion, one of the guys I looked up to as an awesome competitor was this dude right here. He was a wushu stylist. He's multifaceted now. He knows many, many styles of martial arts. But he was a wushu whirlwind, is what we called him. And I have a great quick story. I was at a tournament in Washington, going to compete, like one of my first national events, and we're in this shuttle that they're taking us to the hotel, and I look out the window, and there's a dude running. It's him. He's running to the tournament. Like, I was like, okay, I gotta get to the thing and warm up and stretch. Dude's running against the shuttle van to the thing, and of course he wins the whole grand championship thing. So he's an awesome dude, like 5-time national champion, amazing martial artist and great guy. That is Keith Cooke.
Hey everybody, I am Fatal K. Joining me is the legendary Chris Casamassa. Hey, what's going on? So you're holding a big event here.
Yep.
And it's called Business Combat.
Right.
Yeah.
Business Combat. What I'm trying to do is train up martial arts schoolers from around the country to help raise the standard of the business that we're in, so that they can all make a better living at their passion.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And you also brought some friends with you for this event.
I sure did. Yeah. I'm looking over my shoulder here. I got Shou, who plays Liu Kang. Cooke, who plays Reptile in Mortal Kombat 1 and Sub-Zero in Mortal Kombat 2, is here. And Linden Ashby, who's been in a ton of stuff, but of course everybody knows him as Johnny Cage, is here. And I even got the big guy to come out, which is, no one's going to know who the big guy is, but if it wasn't for this guy, the movies would never happen. And that's Larry Kasanoff, who's our exec producer.
That's awesome. Yeah. So it looks like everybody's having a great time. It's a good event. And some questions about Mortal Kombat for you. You were Scorpion in the Mortal Kombat film. A lot of people were curious, had a lot of questions for you regarding that. I guess one of the things is, you were talking earlier when you announced everybody in Linden, you said there's a scene where he actually punched you accidentally on set.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about that as much as you remember? That's very interesting.
Yeah, no, it was past rehearsal, so we were actually filming.
Right.
And it's the part where we're kind of trading blows back and forth, and he just got too close and punked me right in the forehead. And then I'm used to being hit as a martial artist, so I just kept going with it. But it freaked him out a little bit as an actor, and of course he was concerned about my safety. He said, "No, just keep going." So it was an accident.
But those are interesting stories, because I know Harrison Ford was on talking about how Ryan Gosling, he accidentally punched him on set.
Oh yeah,
that kind of thing. I mean, it does happen.
It
in
happens,
fight
yeah.
scenes. Which is crazy. I mean, but it's a hand-to-hand, a lot of martial arts going on, and at a very fast pace. So things like that are going to happen. Now, is that the worst injury you ever had on set?
Really, that's it.
That's it?
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, that's the set. I've been very fortunate. All the movies and TV shows I've been on, the sets have been very safe places. The stunt coordinators and the fight choreographers have been great to work with. So, even in Mortal Kombat, I did my first wire rig, fly, where they pulled me through the ship.
Yeah.
And I'd never done that before in a film. So it was really cool. The coordinator and the guys that were there just kind of held my hand and walked me through it. So yeah, I've been very fortunate that my biggest injury's been a punch in the head.
Okay, yeah, that's, in the forehead.
Yeah.
At least it wasn't the face.
No.
Yeah, that's good. Another thing, in the movie Mortal Kombat, Scorpion has the harpoon to get over here. I believe Daniel Pacino said on record that was based off the rope dart. Would you have rather seen it be used as an actual rope dart, or do you like how they CG'd the head on the end of it?
You know what? I think the creature was kind of cool.
Yeah.
When we were in rehearsals, they said, hey, we know in the game that it's a dart, but here's what we're thinking.
Right.
And they brought it out and showed me a model of it. And I was like, wow, that's going to come out of my hand. Like, yeah, we're going to have that come out of your hand.
Oh, nice.
So it was actually really cool.
Yeah,
It played well in the film. The movie was done, so CG was okay back then, but it's so much, like, if we did it now, it'd be just phenomenal.
Yeah, it would look really cool. That was a lot of fun to see that. And I believe that was mentioned somewhere. It might have been by Paul. I can't remember who exactly mentioned it, but somewhere in the script, I don't know, was it ever filmed, where they had Sub-Zero do the demonstration with the bodyguard and like freeze him and shatter him in the movie? Wasn't there supposed to be a demonstration where Scorpion did something like that as well?
100%.
Yeah. Do you know what that was supposed to be? Or?
No, because we never shot it. We were running a little late with it, and so they didn't shoot it. But it was in the original script. Both of us did some stuff there.
Yeah, it would have been really neat to see, I think. But yeah, that's awesome, man. So that's a lot of fun. And then you did the first movie, but you weren't in the second movie. Was there any reason why that didn't?
There was a big reason why. I was actually scheduled, signed to do the second movie, which was great. We were going to shoot it in London, part of it, and then but between Mortal Kombat 1 and Mortal Kombat 2, I had got the role to do Batman in Batman and Robin with George Clooney as Clooney's stuntman.
Oh wow!
So in that movie, in Batman and Robin, when you see him punch and kick, that's actually me.
Oh wow!
Doing that. So here, what happened was we had the schedules all worked out, everything was good, but in the movie business, stuff happens.
Yeah, things change.
So they pushed back the schedule for the start of Batman, and it conflicted with the start of Mortal Kombat. So Larry and I have a great relationship, and I called him. I go, look, I signed on to do Batman. It's a $100 million project. I've never been on something like that before.
Yeah.
And he's like, just do it. Don't worry about it. He was really cool to me about it. And then he brought me back when we did the TV series.
Yeah.
He brought me back as Scorpion in the TV series, which was cool. So I was actually scheduled to be in Mortal Kombat 2 as to be the reprisal role of Scorpion, but it's just a shooting conflict between Batman and
Right, and they talked about the third movie that never was set to be, Devastation, I think it was called, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, were you going to be in that too?
100%.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome to hear as a fan, because I loved you in the movie. I thought
thank
you were
you.
a great Scorpion.
Thank you.
So you were going to do you know anything at all about Devastation, the script, or what it was supposed to be?
I know everything about it.
Okay.
But there's nothing I can tell you guys. Sorry.
Oh.
I can't. But it's all I can say is it was a great script. There had been a ton of action, and a whole lot of stuff was going down. But
That's awesome.
it may not be.
Yeah, but you worked in Conquest, and you worked with guys like Paolo Montalban and Daniel Bernhardt. What was it like working with those guys?
Great guys. Yeah, Paolo is very talented. He's actually a theater guy.
Yeah.
So he's got a lot of great skills there, and he's a good martial artist. And then Daniel is amazing. We had a kicking contest on set one day.
Really?
Oh, the dude kicks like a horse. Like, he is strong. Yeah, he outkicked me with some power stuff that we were doing.
Wow.
Yeah, I could outspin kick him. I couldn't outpower kick him.
Do you have like any fun stories from the Mortal Kombat Conquest series?
Oh, we got a ton of them. I mean, nothing I don't know that I can share.
Oh yeah.
without getting in trouble. But
Right.
Yeah, no, it was a great time. We got to shoot that at Universal Studios in Florida.
Oh wow.
On set there, and they actually made the show part of the tour for a little bit. So the tram tours would come by while we were shooting.
Oh wow.
Yeah, that's kind of neat.
That is awesome. So you got to do a lot of that, and then Conquest. It was one of my favorite shows to watch because it was always on after WCW.
Yeah.
My dad was a big wrestling guy, so then I'd come down and be like, "Oh, Conquest is coming on," and I loved it. Your character originally, before he was called Scorpion, was called Takeda.
Yeah.
Ironically enough, and I don't know if you're familiar with the games, but they released Mortal Kombat X, and they have a character called Takeda.
Yeah, I saw that.
You did see that.
I saw
So
that,
I wonder if they grabbed that from Conquest. I guess that's probably more of a developer question, but when you see things like that, do you think that's pretty cool?
I think it's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, are you kidding me? With the stuff that Mortal Kombat has done and become, and the fans, and the fact that even after all this time we've got all this stuff going on, it's really in my heart. Like it's awesome. I love the fans. I love the people that are keeping it alive, and we're keeping our fingers crossed that we're going to keep working on doing another one, and it's blowing out of the park for everybody.
That's awesome, man. And did you play I think I read somewhere in an interview you had done that you were a fan of Mortal Kombat as a game.
Yeah.
Was it before you got the role of Scorpion?
Before I got the role of Scorpion, my two favorite characters were Raiden. That was my number one, and then Scorpion. I like those the best.
Yes.
And so here's a cool story.
Yeah.
When I got the role of Scorpion, it had already been cast. So when I first, because I hadn't done really anything big at that point, so I just heard that there were auditions for Mortal Kombat, and I was a fan of the game. I'm like, oh, that's cool. And we went there, and they said, oh, we're auditioning for background fighters. So you remember the scenes where we stand around for Goro?
Yeah.
That's what I originally went out to audition for. Because I thought, wow, it'd be cool to be in this, big Hollywood film. I'd only done smaller films up to that point, and I just really, and I tell people this all the time, I was in the right place at the right time. I had practiced my whole life for something like this, so the skill that I had developed over time really helped to open that door. Because when we went, they said, listen, all the roles are cast, we're just looking for background fighters, and they set it up kind of like a little tournament where they had, like, we're sitting in chairs. They had 3 people in chairs, and they said, just come up and show us your stuff. And so I went up, and I had competed for years on the national circuit, the pro tour, so I said, well, I'm just going to do something just for fun. They were sitting in chairs only 3.5 feet high. I knew I could clear that, so I just ran at them and jumped over them. And I watched their heads go up and over, and then I dove and kind of flipped back over them and did my thing, and then finished it like, oh, okay, thank you. I get a call the next day, hey, we want you to come back.
Oh, nice.
And I thought, what the heck, why are you calling me to come back? Like, it's just for background fighter.
Right.
And so they had us do some other stuff with weapons. And the first day I was there was like 100 people. And I went back and there was like 50. I got a call the next day, why don't you come back again? And I'm like, man, it's hard to get into a big budget film. Like, I didn't realize it was that difficult.
Yeah.
And then the third time that we came back, I love telling the story, there was just 3 of us. It was me and 2 other guys. And the director walked over and said, hey, you guys mind taking off your shirt? And I'm kind of a smart ass, and it gets me in trouble sometimes. So I looked at him and I said, well, if it'll get me the part, I'll come back to your trailer too. Right? Which, see, everybody laughs when I tell the story.
That's hilarious.
Deadpan.
Yeah.
Deadpan. Right?
That's great.
His fit, and I go, oh my God. I'm like, this dude's gonna kill me.
Yeah.
And so we did it. And they had the cameras there, and they were filming us. And I was really in great shape. And I looked at the guy on the left of me. He had a little bit of a pot belly. Looked at the guy on the right, and I'm like, just trying to flex.
Yeah.
So they went into this like football huddle.
Yeah.
And I didn't know who it was, but at the time I found out it was Larry. It was the director, Paul Anderson. It was the camera operator. And they went into this football huddle. Came over, and Paul Anderson shakes my hand. He goes, welcome to Mortal Kombat. You're going to be Scorpion.
Oh!
And up to that point, like, I had no idea.
Yeah.
And so I was like, thank you.
Yeah.
And then it took me the time I walked to the door to realize, hey, that just happened.
Yeah.
I had this ear-to-ear grin on my face.
Yeah.
I called my mom, and I'm like, I'm going to be in Mortal Kombat. And she goes, that's awesome, honey. What's Mortal Kombat?
Yeah, yeah. You're like...
It's like, it's an awesome video game.
Yeah.
So,
And you had such an iconic role as Scorpion, and the fighting was great.
Oh, thank you.
I know that was some choreography with you and Linden. Did you help with any of that choreography? Or?
I did. The fight coordinator was Pat Johnson, who's awesome dude. He had done all the Ninja Turtle movies, all the Karate Kid movies, and his thing is he takes the talent that people have, and he kind of crafts the fight scene based on their talent. So rather than his vision of you do this and you do this, he comes to you and goes, okay, what's your favorite stuff? What can you do?
Right.
What's your favorite? And so he helps blend it together. And he of course says, well, this guy's got to win, this guy's got to lose, but let's take it in this direction. So he really harnessed our talents, and that's really what I think helped make that fight scene come out. His choreography really helped that fight scene pop.
That's awesome. Yeah, it was one of the best fight scenes I think in the first movie. Was you and Linden, and I think there were a few other good ones, but that one definitely is in the top. Did you have?
Well, for the sake of this interview, it should actually be number 1.
Yes, it is. It is. It is.
I'm just messing.
It is my personal favorite, but in this set, you guys were doing all sorts of crazy things, and I guess it was like the Nether Realm, not so much the forest, but when you got into like the meat of the fight.
Right.
Did you have a stunt double for any of that at any time?
I had a stunt double for the part where I do the double flip off the platform.
Yeah.
They just wouldn't let me do it, and honestly, I didn't want to do it.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, I could do a single, but they wanted to double off the platform.
Yeah.
The person that they had double me, though, was a guy named Mitch Kalon, who was actually an Olympic gold medalist.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So he actually did that part. And the rest of it was
all you. That's impressive, man. That is really impressive.
And the fire burn. I didn't do the fire burn. That was Jeff Amata.
Oh, really?
Jeff Amata did the fire burn. Again, I wanted to try that, but they're like,
yeah,
you're gonna do it. So but he did the fire burn.
That's awesome. Yeah, that turned out really well. It was just a great overall scene. A lot of action, and for you to be able to do most of that, like it sounds like you did 90% of it.
Yeah.
That's really cool. So you did Conquest. You were going to be in 3. I wish we could get. I know you can't give me details. I respect that, but I wish I could know a little bit more about.
I wish I could tell you.
What Devastation
I really
is
do.
going to be. Now they're actually working on another Mortal Kombat movie with James Wan. Would you ever show interest in doing something like that?
Absolutely, 100%. I love the franchise. If I got a chance to even double the guy who's doing a new Scorpion, which they shouldn't. It should be me. I'm just saying. I'm watching. I can still kick ass to this day.
There you go.
But yeah, I would be happy to do it, and
Well, the fans would love to see you come back. I'd love to see you come back as Scorpion. I mean, you're perfect for it. You've already been in the shoes. I feel like you'd be very comfortable in the role. I think fans would love to see you back.
Thank you.
James, if you're watching this, cast him. Make it happen. Awesome, man. Would you ever consider doing anything with the video game? If they called you to like, hey, will you voice act?
that actually would be really cool. I got to do some stuff when they made Mortal Kombat into an animated series, so I got to do some mocaps and motion capture for that, which was kind of cool.
Yeah.
And that's why it's so dear to me is like I've been through the first movie, the TV show, the animated series.
So it makes sense to do something with you in the game, right? Like maybe have you come in and maybe voice act Scorpion or something. I mean, that would work. Yeah. I'd love to see it happen. It would be great just to have you back in the franchise. Do you have any immediate plans to do anything again with Mortal Kombat that's planned, or?
The deal with Mortal Kombat right now is it's owned by Warner Brothers, and they're really focusing, I think, a lot on. I mean, I don't know, but I'm assuming their DC franchise stuff is really big right now. So that the project for Mortal Kombat 3 has been in limbo for quite some time. I'm hearing that it's moving forward. At this point, I don't have anything to do with it, but I would love to. I'd love that opportunity. It would be great. But we are working on other projects. Larry Kasanoff and I have some stuff in the works that, again, I can't say anything about, but we're signing some big name stuff, and basically it's an action-adventure sci-fi thing that's pretty awesome.
Well, I'm excited to see it.
Pretty awesome.
For sure.
Yeah.
Let alone hear about it. It's going to be great seeing you guys get to work together again.
Yeah.
It's going to be a lot of fun. So yeah, that's a lot of fun, man. It's great. Thank you for allowing us to come with Corey to this event. I know Movie Dude 18, Corey Davis, good friend of mine, and just really glad you allowed me to come out here and ask some questions from the fans. It was a lot of fun hanging out with you and getting to know you a little bit.
Yeah, thank you.
Another thing I was going to steer into too, one last question. You run Red Dragon Karate, right? And you love the games. Is it kind of interesting? NetherRealm actually has the Red Dragon in their game. It's called the Red Dragon Clan. Have you know about that? So do you think that maybe that might be a little bit of a poke towards you in some way, or just a coincidence?
I wouldn't take it as a poke. It might be a coincidence or anything, but
no nudge to Chris over there. You don't think somebody?
I'll you know what? I'll say yes. I'll say yes. They're thinking of me at NetherRealm, and I'm happy. You guys again.
Yes, I agree.
I'm ready.
Yes, they need to do something with you in the video game world there at NetherRealm. I'd love to see that happen. I think fans would like to see it happen. It'd be great to have you, man. Like reprise the role of Scorpion in some way, shape, or form. Because you were just so darn good in the movie.
Thank you.
And you were great in Conquest. I mean, even before you were Scorpion, you had some great lines with Paolo.
Yeah.
And you guys worked so well together, I thought. And then when you became Scorpion, and I think you had a couple fights with Sub-Zero. It just. You're awesome, man. I loved watching it in Conquest, and it was a blast. So I want to say again, thanks for your time on behalf of MortalKombatOnline.com. Thanks for having us out here.
And listen, thanks to all the fans. Like, I couldn't do the things that I do or do interviews like this if it wasn't for the fans. Mortal Kombat's an awesome franchise that's been around for a long, long time, and it's because of the fans that I love. And they are awesome. They've been great to me. So thank you for doing this. Thank you for being here, and hopefully we'll see you guys soon. Remember.
Yes. Get on the phone with him now.
That's right.
Awesome. Thank you.
Bye, man. Thank you.
Get over here!
All right, so it's Fatal Kate. I'm here with Keith Cooke.
Yes.
Absolutely. And Keith, you were in both Mortal Kombat movies.
Yes.
So in Mortal Kombat 1, you were Reptile.
Yes.
And then in Mortal Kombat 2, you were Sub-Zero.
That's correct.
So how did you get into character for Reptile specifically, if you remember?
Well, Robin and I have been friends for quite some time, and that was a scene that they decided to add to the movie after the movie was done. And just a little trivia, I was actually tried out for the part of Liu Kang also.
Really?
Yeah. And I probably went in like 3 or 4 times, but I didn't get it, obviously. Robin did. And then he called me after, because we'd been friends for such a long time and worked out together a lot.
Yeah.
And when they wanted to add a scene and get more action, he called me up, and I went in and met Larry, and then we decided to do it. Yeah. And it was really, it was really natural. It just felt really natural, and there wasn't really any, I wouldn't say like character development.
Yeah, it was just kind of a fight scene.
Yeah, it was a fight scene, and we wanted to make it feel like it was a little reptile-ish, like this thing.
Yeah.
And
was that any particular fighting style? Or did you just kind of make it up a little bit?
I think it's a mix of things, and I think I've always been a Bruce Lee guy, and he was my hero.
Yeah.
And he was, I think he was the guy. He was the original mixed martial artist, and so you learn from watching and working out with a lot of people from different styles, and you try to use as much of that as you can, and that's what we tried to do in that scene.
It's awesome. That fight scene was pretty awesome, and I heard it somewhere, and I don't know if it's true, but was there like an injury on set for that fight?
There was one throw where I had to throw Robin, and he did sort of like a butterfly twist almost, and hit his rib cage on one of the parts of the set that was built there, and broke some ribs. Yeah.
Did that set you guys back a little bit, or did he just get up and say, let's just keep going?
He's a pretty tough dude. So
Yeah. He just kept going.
we just kept going.
That's
yeah,
awesome.
I mean, it's just you just take it in stride, and that's I think comes from a lot of martial arts training, because you inevitably you take shots and you get injured, and you try to keep going. So.
Yeah, that's awesome. And so for the role for Annihilation, when you did Sub-Zero, did you audition for that, or did Robin kind of help get you in for that role?
Oh, I auditioned a lot.
You did?
Yeah.
Did you know you were going to be Sub-Zero in Annihilation? Is that the role you were like kind of dead on?
No, well, that's what I went into audition for, and I remember that day, going in and going for it, with the audition and stuff, and then going through I must have gone in 10 times on that one.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and went through table readings and stuff, and didn't even find out I got the Sub-Zero role until I got to England, because they approved me for Baraka, which I ended up not playing.
Right.
But I ended up playing Sub-Zero.
That's awesome. And you had some speaking lines in that movie, and you had, I think, one of the best fight scenes in that movie, because a lot of fans wanted to see the fight between Scorpion and Sub-Zero.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of bummed that Chris didn't get on board for the Annihilation, because I think that would have been fun to watch you two, especially because you guys have a history.
Absolutely.
That would have been a fun fight to watch.
That would have been awesome.
I don't know who the actor was that played Scorpion in Annihilation off the top of my head.
J.J. Perry.
J.J. Perry, okay. What was it like to work with him?
It was great. He's a great guy. He's a really nice guy. And we actually trained together and sparred, and he's a Taekwondo guy.
Okay.
But I would say exceptional Taekwondo guy. And interestingly enough, I rehearsed that scene with Ray Park.
Yeah.
Mostly. Because JJ was also playing another role so he didn't have time to rehearse. So I rehearsed the whole scene with Ray Park. You know who Ray Park is?
He's a really great stunt guy and seems to know a lot of stuff with the martial arts world.
He's a really good martial artist. Yeah. And so I was, it's amazing how many good martial artists great martial artists they put together for Mortal Kombat. So it was just great to be around those guys and work with them, and it was awesome.
Yeah, and the scene where you're fighting him and you're on the ice, was that set piece, was that, I think Corey told me that was salt?
It was salt, yeah. It was a lot like fighting on sand.
Yeah.
Like it's amazing. Like a lot of times you'll be in some rehearsal hall, and you'll be rehearsing, and they're having you jump up and do triple kicks or something like that, and then say, oh yeah, it's going to be on the beach, and you're going to be jumping out of the sand.
Yeah.
And so that was one of those situations that made it more challenging because it was slippery.
Yeah.
And your foot would sink in.
So a lot of things can go wrong.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
you got to be careful with that. But that's cool. And the scene looked great. What did you think when you saw your fight scene in the movie? Like after you'd done it and then you went to the movie and you saw it, were you happy with it or?
I felt like, one of the challenges I think for that scene was the lighting in that bridge, because it had 2 levels. It had the underneath and it was kind of dark.
Yeah.
And so I think that was a challenge for them in editing, and I felt like, like some of the stuff we did actually didn't make it into the fight because it was too dark. So
that's awesome. And the third movie was, I think, going to be called Devastation. Mm-hmm. Did you get any kind of news about that? Were you going to have any role in that, or?
I didn't even hear anything about it.
Nothing?
Is it still coming out?
No. No. So they were going to do, I think, Devastation after a while, and then it just never came to fruition. It never ended up happening for whatever reason. We don't know.
They should have contacted me.
Yeah, I think I would have loved to see you come back as Sub-Zero, because there's a lot of plot line with the brother of Sub-Zero that you played in Annihilation.
Yeah.
He's a very main character in the storyline of the game.
Yeah.
And I think maybe that would have opened doors for you to maybe have a bigger role too.
Yeah.
Which would have been great. Was there a plan for you to have maybe a bigger role in the actual original script? Because you just kind of did that fight scene and then that was it for you. You didn't have another appearance.
Yeah. I think originally I was supposed to come back in the ending, and I don't know what happened. So
it would have. I think it would have made more sense to have you come back in the ending.
Yeah.
Personally.
Yeah. I think they wanted to make it more mysterious or something like that.
Yeah.
And maybe they were thinking about another movie or something like that.
Okay.
But I don't know what happened.
Yeah, it's one of those things that gets lost in translation. Making a film, I'm sure there's a lot of different hands in the pot when it comes to making these things.
I loved working on it though, because when you have a role like that, and plus, I was trying to, we were the stunt team too, so we rehearsed all the fights, and I worked with all the actors and actresses that had to do martial arts and stuff like that. So it was a great experience.
Yeah, it sounds like it was a lot of fun. And are you still working in film, or are you focusing more on martial arts? Or?
Well, I own a martial arts school, which I've had for 24 years now. And so that's a big part of my life. And I have 4 kids. I have a son, and then I have 3 stepdaughters. And so that's takes up a lot of time. Yeah. I'm still interested in making one more movie.
Yeah.
And so we'll see. We'll see if that ever comes to fruition.
I'd love to see that happen. You were a great martial artist in both movies. The Reptile fight with Robin was great in the first movie. I loved it. I thought you were great against Scorpion. That was a fight scene that I think every Mortal Kombat fan, including me, wanted to see.
Yeah.
And it was just so well, I think, played out. It looked so great. And I was just kind of bummed we didn't see Sub-Zero come back in the rest of the movie a little bit there. But you did a fantastic job. And you were very entertaining. And to a lot of people, you'll always be kind of remembered as Sub-Zero. Has anybody ever came up to you and been like, you're Sub-Zero from Annihilation, or does that really not happen a lot?
It doesn't happen too often.
No?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was just kind of a small role, but every once in a while, and I think I get recognized more from like King of the Kickboxers and China O'Brien, because they played them all over the world, like I get a lot of but actually, where I get a lot of mail from is like Eastern countries, like the Soviet, Russia.
Oh wow!
Over there, get fan letters and stuff.
That's awesome. So you got like kind of a following globally then,
Yeah.
to a degree. That's really cool, man. But I want to say thank you so much for doing the interview with me and hanging out with us. I know the fans had some great questions for you, and definitely appreciate you coming by, and thank you for your time, man.
Thank you.
It was a pleasure to get
Nice
to know
meet
you. Absolutely. So thanks for coming on, and maybe we can chat again in the future somehow via Skype or something, set something up.
That'd be great. Anytime.
I'd love to have you on, and I know the fans will probably have a little more proactive questions if we
Okay.
ever get the chance to do something live.
Let me know.
It'd be great.
All right.
But Keith, thank you so
Take
much
care.
for your time. I know
All
you're a
right.
busy man. Thank
My
you.
pleasure.
Finish him quickly. Pay me my tribute.
This puny mortal will be no problem. I'll crush him in one blow.
All right. Let's dance.
Sorry.
You imbecile! Damn! That hurt! Follow him! Finish him!
So I don't typically do this. Is embarrassing. Yes, like I have a beer as well. Okay, good. We're gonna go with that mythology. All right, so I am here with Linden Ashby, and I'm not gonna do this interview that way. No, dude. So I first met you when I hosted a screening of the first film at the Chinese Theater last year. And when was the last time you'd seen the movie prior to that?
Gosh, 20 years?
20? Really?
Yeah.
It's been that long?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, as a follower on Twitter, you seem to constantly get references at it, you know, on and on. So is it a very big prodigal part of your entire career, or?
Yeah, of course. I mean, it was this cultural kind of touchstone. I mean, it's just certainly for, I would say a generation, but it's actually probably a couple generations in there that, what qualifies as a generation?
I would say 12 years, but like I would
so it's more
I
than a
wouldn't go with the
generation.
traditional decades like 80s, 90s.
No,
because we all
because
some,
it's
if
more
we
than
fall in the
that.
middle,
So
what are you?
It's kind of this spread from people who are in their early 20s to people who are in their
Yeah.
40s, you know.
And I've learned that through Mortal Kombat, even though it's a PG-13 movie, it's an R-rated game.
Things that Mortal
Yeah.
Kombat has taught you.
Yeah, I know. It's
Life lessons.
knowledge is power, number one. But one of the big questions I have for you is, being from Louisiana, the third movie was called Devastation, and there was a script for it in 2005, right?
Yeah.
Do you remember anything about this script? And because you kind of you never saw the script.
Was I in it?
Yeah, I was. I mean, it was one of those things that I think that it was supposed to be the return of Johnny Cage, and it's a big rumor. Here's the thing with Mortal Kombat and talking to Paul all the time about this. Paul Anderson, the director. You know, there's not much we have in this world. There's no behind-the-scenes featurettes. There's no commentaries. There's no.
There wasn't
It's no. I mean, like little mini 2 or 5 minute ones, but nothing like a traditional movie like this has. So, like, you know,
we did a whole behind the scenes though.
You did a thing for TNT back in
This was like we had somebody film all kinds of interviews on the set. We did behind the scenes. Ask me shit.
Well, I believe me, I sent it because there's no on the Blu-rays and the videos. There's no special features. There's no deleted scenes or anything. But so you really have no record of actually coming back for a third movie. They never.
No, they never told me about it. So.
Well, what about Scorpion's original fight scene with you? Paul was telling me about it and how after a test screening they bumped it up and made it bigger, and Robin came in and choreographed
did
it.
the whole thing on the scaffolding.
What was the original fight? I mean, you met in the forest. I know that.
We ran around and
You just like high kicked him.
I high kicked him.
It was pretty much a fight that didn't.
That was the began the fight.
Okay.
Eventually.
Well, there was a story you told at the Chinese, which I'm sure we'll cut back to, but with footage, but about nunchucks.
Yes.
Swinging those nunchucks.
Yes.
And speaking of which, the deleted stuff.
The whip chain.
Is it the
whip chain, not
Sorry,
nunchucks, yeah.
it's whip chains.
Yeah,
Okay.
the whip chain.
Whip chains. So was that
That stupid whip chain forever.
you practiced it? Did you get legit at it?
Never that legit.
Well, I don't know. I also felt like.
But I was pretty good at it. Kind of.
What about
Good for a movie.
good for a movie?
Real life, probably not.
But that's how you met Chris, pretty much through this, and you trained with him for almost 3 years.
Yep.
You guys still grab beers, and that's what I've learned about with Paul. And I saw him at a sushi place about a month ago, and it's like with Robin here, you guys have been such a collective family. Is there anything about the film, just to even let you say, that we don't know? Something that a deleted scene, something that the audition process, I guess, was there anything crazy about it? Or
There was a different girl who played Sonya.
I remember Cameron Diaz was originally. When I met her, she said she failed the audition. Yes, I met Cameron Diaz, and she said she broke her wrist and blamed the bad audition on the broken wrist. She said I was the only one to ask her about Mortal Kombat. But yeah.
She did all right.
Yeah, I think she went on to do a few little movies, some Tom Cruise films.
Yeah. I just watched Vanilla Sky.
That's actually my favorite Tom Cruise and Cameron Diaz movie. It's mind-blowing.
So well.
Did you get a Blu-ray? You should go to Amazon. Go to Amazon, and the Blu-ray's like $10. And there is Cameron Crowe, who directed Jeremy Wiley. There's a 28-minute alternate ending. The whole third act is completely different to Vanilla Sky, and Paramount locked it away for about 15 years, and they finally said Cameron could release it, and it's a whole new take on the movie. And it's one of those where you can see the reality versus the delusion, and you don't know what is, you kind of can go with what you want to believe. Yeah, no, it's an amazing movie.
Sound design, the soundtrack, the cinematography.
Chemical Brothers, isn't it? Yeah, it's fantastic.
It's great.
But that's kind of like what I'm saying with Mortal Kombat. We know, like in the trailer, there's clips, there's things that were shot, and that's going to be great to have Larry here tonight to ask some of those really good scenes. But I guess the final thing to sum up for the fans is the easiest question, by the way, because you don't have a lot of interviews like this, but the game. Did you play it? Did you love it?
What?
The game. Did you love it? Did you play it? Was it mandatory for the audition that have you ever met the guy who played like Johnny Cage? I think he's Daniel Pacino, but no?
I'm not a big gamer.
No, that's okay. You don't have. The thing is, you know the character
tried
so well that it's hard to believe you didn't love
I
it.
think I tried to play the game like when it was an arcade game.
Yeah. Well, I guess the final question I have that everyone asks, no, it's fair. Everyone asks is what exactly happened with Annihilation, the second movie, and not doing it. In the script, were you a main character?
I'll talk to Larry about that one.
We'll talk to Larry about it? I can go with that.
Yeah.
But no. Yeah. Were you? Do you know that when you did the first movie, were you asked like to do the sequel, or
I had a sequel deal.
you did have a sequel deal?
did have a
You know if Robin did?
You might have.
But you had a 2-picture,
Yeah.
maybe 3.
Yeah, maybe.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nice. And then one more thing, actually. How was we miss Bridget at a lot of all these things. You're a little bitter, but that's okay. You have an IPA to fill that crack.
That's right. It's alcohol can fill all the cracks in your heart.
No, but I think we all wish Johnny was a big part and you were in the second movie
Too.
But I think we still pray for the day, quote, that there's a return to the
You know what? It would
franchise.
actually be. I don't know. I mean, the logical thing is to reinvent it, like James Bond, but it would be pretty fun to bring.
And Paul's on that
everyone
train.
back.
That's what he said at the Chinese theater. He was all about the idea of like how Star Wars and everyone they realized that their originality, their
There's such a fondness for this film, and kind of just goodwill.
Yeah.
And it's a fun film. It's fun. It's got heart. It's got, and it would be really fun to kind of go back to that again.
Yeah. Well, and this film would have to be. Where's it stamp in your career? I mean, I graduated in 2008. Prom night was awesome, but
It's a huge part of my career. It's,
and now you're turning to directing too. I overheard that from someone else. So you already touched that with Teen Wolf, but
yeah,
at the
and
end,
I'm doing a Lifetime movie, and very excited.
Where's Johnny now? Is that what it's called?
It is. Where's Johnny? Johnny, come back.
He moved to Reno.
Don't they all?
Yeah. Well, thank you, buddy.
Oh, dude.
You're awesome.
Thank you.
You're the man.
You too.
All right, dude. All right. At a Resident Evil premiere, friends with Paul Anderson, Resident Evil 5.
Right.
And
No, that wasn't the first time. The first time we did the MK, the first MK.
No,
Wasn't that the anniversary?
No, I met you and Annie was there, and you had short hair. Your hair was completely short.
That one.
Yeah.
Marriott.
And I was holding a margarita, now I'm holding a
Like
beer.
Marriott, right?
I've lessened my standards.
Like the 20-something.
Yeah, it was the JW Marriott.
Got it.
Yeah.
That was the first time I remember.
And then I mean we've gone on to help decorate your kids' birthdays, but in between here we've met up at the Chinese Theater a couple times and we hosted not only the first but also the second movie Annihilation, and one of these things that I was just telling Linden about was that there's not a lot of special features on the DVD. There's not a lot of things we don't know, and you're not really on social media, so we don't have to have you plug your pages or whatever. He's a very dedicated family man right now, and so the thing is, let's get some stuff that maybe.
You know what? I think that would be great. Special features on MK.
That's why we're trying to do this with
I don't
Mortal Kombat
know. Well,
Online.
did you talk to Sir Larry Kasanoff?
Yeah, I'm gonna.
Because the thing is that we've done so much preparation on the film. So much. Not just training, but special effects, rehearsals, costumes, you know, we've done so much prep for that movie.
And
That is should be on some kind of special
when
feature.
it should be, and that's the problem. And we know even in the trailer, there's scenes that are not. And Linden was talking about when you came in and they reshot the Scorpion and Johnny Cage fight, as well as the best fight in the movie, which you choreographed, the Reptile, which we'll get to Keith Cooke. But first question is, when you were brought on board, obviously you can talk about you're not Caucasian, you're not this typical ordinary average Joe, but you're the leading man, and there's a cultural impact there. But when you got the job, at what point did you start playing the game? Did you play the game? Was Liu Kang your favorite
Before I
character?
jump onto about that, is that on the audition process, I went in. My first meeting was with the director of Anderson and the casting director, and also Larry Kasanoff, the producer. And then so we were just kind of talking, and to be honest, I never heard of him.
Chris Casamassa.
Because I was working in Hong Kong.
At that point, it was only a couple years old.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I never heard of it. So then I wasn't exactly thrilled about the movie because I knew they wanted the Asian guy to do kung fu, and I hated the stereotypical type of character where you kind of make fun of the Asian character, the ninja, So then anyway, Larry was saying, "Oh yeah. What style of martial arts do you do?" I said, "Well, I do the Shou style, Chinese martial arts." And then he said, "Yeah, we have a guy who does this exact same style as you, and his picture is right there on the wall." And I turned around, look at this guy who had this clearly Japanese, Japanese gear, Hapkido gear, and I go, "Excuse me, I know we look alike to you, but he's Japanese and I'm Chinese."
Yeah, there's a difference.
So no, I know, but what I'm saying is that I went in to the audition with a sort of chip on my shoulder because I'm extremely proud of what I do, like martial arts
You are.
and everything. So
He puts everything, whether it's his kid's birthday party or a movie, he puts everything into it.
and then but that's a funny thing. That's a funny story. I always tell people that because a lot of time you don't not just ethnicity confusion, like the martial art. Because martial art is basically my life. It is my life, and I want people to know about the different type of martial arts. So when I got the part as Liu Kang, I didn't know it was going to be this sort of have this kind of impact.
Did you know that it would come with doing the choreography? How did that come into play as an actor?
No, a lot of
and then ended up,
Well, as an actor, you do have input. You do have,
Okay.
yeah. So I think Pat Johnson was the choreographer. He did all the Karate Kids. He's an amazing
Nice, yeah.
man. So then, of course, he would ask you what you're comfortable with. So then, of course, by that time, I've done like 30-some movies. Where I actually did do all my own stunts. So then I had a few input. So then he saw it, he loved it, and then said, "Oh, okay, cool. Let's use him."
Nice. So you're filming in Thailand. You're no stranger to being around the world already and filming 37 movies, as you just said. But how is something that I want to ask you that I've never asked you, because I like to challenge myself, with Bridget and Linden as you guys being a triple threat together, Bridget, we know, retired and went off and getting married and with Sampras but you, Linden, Chris, Keith, I've seen you guys now at 8 events and it's great. But how was Bridget as an actress? She doesn't have a Twitter either. She's kind of just disappeared. So
Really nice girl. Really super nice girl. But again, she was only 19.
She's very young. She's 20.
19 years. Was it 19, 20?
Yeah.
So she was really young. Her mom was there. So her mom was out in Thailand with us.
Okay.
So I think her sister came later. So it was a family event for her, like kind of thing, So then she just kind of mixes really well. I mean, she was 19 years old, really curious. I think it was beginning of her career also.
It was.
So-
And that year she had the Adam Sandler movie,
Exactly.
Billy Madison, and it was a big, she just blew up in a year.
Exactly.
Two
Well,
movies.
was it, what's that? Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Oh yeah, Last Action Hero. She was,
the daughter.
that was 94. That was the year
daughter.
before. You're right.
She was
Forgot
the
about
daughter.
that one.
So then, she's wonderful. She's nice. She's together. So then we just kind of and all of us are really down to earth anyway. Me and the entire cast was like really simple people. We're not complicated. We don't
No,
have
I
any
can tell you're
problems.
still an IPA guy.
So, yeah.
Well, all right. So,
it was really easy.
you know, is there? I have to ask for everyone. Is there anything that you remember filming in the first movie that didn't make the cut? A scene, or whether it was a really good moment, like the infight with Kiritawa. Talk about working with him too. I've never asked you.
Oh, awesome. He's really
He's a badass.
He's a badass.
Yeah.
Of course, like, you know, he doesn't like it, but he's always
Yeah.
the older version.
Yeah.
No, because there's like two Asian guys. One Asian guy is a good guy, the other Asian guy is a bad guy.
Yeah.
So that's how they address us. The young one and the old one. He didn't like that. But no, he's super. He's super. Really easy to work with. He just kind of like we rehearsed a lot because the fight that we did went around circles. Paul came up to me and Pat and saying, "I'm gonna use a steady cam around these actors. So I want a fight that is kind of like circular." So you know, we came up with the circular fight, and I just rehearsed and reversed. I mean, I don't mind reversing. It's just works out. So I just kind of constantly reverse.
These movies are just a gym. They're like a gym membership, aren't they?
That you can pay.
You can pay.
But you know, it's just really easy. Really, he doesn't complain. Nothing.
Nice.
He doesn't have those, you know, we heard like actors who kind of, I can't do this, get a stunt double. And
Yeah.
No, he wanted to do everything. So it was like really easy.
Yeah. No, it's interesting. I've just seen him kind of pop up in cons and do that stuff. But he went on to do Tekken. But you went on to do a Street Fighter movie.
Yeah.
You went on to do Dead or Alive with Paul. You know, Paul probably called you over and said, "I have beer. I want to get you in."
I know. I said, I have beer. This is an excuse for you to come over to hang out with me. I said, yeah, I'll do it. It was like a week of work.
Yeah.
I got paid a lot of money.
You were
for
the
that.
pirate captain.
Yeah,
right?
no. And of course, funny thing is that Corey Yuan directed the movie.
Oh yeah.
So then anyway, so Paul and Jeremy really fought to have me on the show. So when I went over, because the entire script, the entire film is in English, so then they wanted the pirate leaders to speak English.
Yeah.
So turned out once I got there, they switched it, saying, "Oh, you can speak Chinese now." I said, "What? What did you get me over here for?" "That's what I said, Corey. I don't know why they want you."
Oh wow.
And pay you all this money.
Paul made the call on that.
Yeah,
one,
no, I know.
think.
So he just wanted. It's just an excuse for him to hang out with me.
Yeah.
So I had a blast.
All right, so we do know a lot about in the community, the combat community, about the first film. But me and you know, Annihilation came a couple years later, and it was met with honestly mixed feelings. You know, a lot of the actors didn't come back, and we talked to women about that and everything. But my first question with the sequel was, when you did the first movie, did you sign a deal that it was 1 or 2? Or
No, we did. I signed a 2-picture deal.
it was a 2-picture deal? Okay. And when you first went into, well, when Mortal Kombat, the first one came out, this was your first big American leading actor. I mean, number 1, 3 weeks in a row.
A Chinese guy.
Yeah, and I mean, how did your life change? Like, I mean, you're such a family man now, so I know you had to have a
You know
big...
what? It didn't change much because I'm still the same.
Yeah.
I am still the same. I got more meetings.
You got more...
You know, when I call people,
Your
listen,
agent was,
when I
was
call,
calling you.
When I call, people would sit down with me and say,
Yeah.
"Oh, Robin, okay, come on in."
Nice.
You know, so that's about it. I still go to the same Chinese restaurant. I still shop at the Chinese market. I was living in St. Gabriel.
I love that. I love when actors say,
Yeah,
like,
so then-
they're like, I still kept my studio apartment.
No, exactly.
You know,
I
just, yeah.
I still, exactly. I shared a house with a friend of mine. Nothing changed.
Yeah.
Except, you know, like people recognize me. That's about it. You know?
Yeah.
And then people will come up to me with soundtracks. "Hey, can you sign my soundtrack?" I said,
Yeah.
"What? You carry a
Well, that's the thing. Have you, like, do you get a lot of fans that ask you to sign the actual video game, the
Yeah,
cartridge?
oh, yeah.
Really?
I mean, they
have you
just-
ever signed an arcade machine?
No, I
Oh,
want it.
let's see if we can do that.
I want it.
Let's see if we
That would be
let's
really cool.
pop that one.
That would really cool.
Okay, that's a challenge. I'm gonna see if we can fail.
If you can find an arcade game.
Oh no! Oh, Combat Con.
Oh, really?
Oh
Okay,
yeah.
all right, okay.
I'll have to. We'll take a flight. We'll tell Andy we're just taking a trip. Okay. Annihilation, you know, Linden was kind of out, Bridget was out, Chris even wasn't a part of it, but you know, it's still, I prefer it, and I love it in every way, because it's awesome. But anyway, no, what about Talicia? You know, you worked with her twice in both of these. You guys were the returning duo of the franchise.
I call her my sister because like she's Puerto Rican, and then she's very deep in the family culture. Like she loves people, and she calls me brother. I call her sister. We know each other so well. She's really honest, really genuine, loving, kind, and yet she's a tough warrior. So you don't have to be like really careful. Like you meaning like you can joke with her like any.
Yeah.
Like, she can take it.
She's sarcastic.
She's very sarcastic.
She comes across as
and
sarcastic.
also, I don't know if you know that she does an amazing Scarface accent.
No, I didn't know that.
Well, she did a Scarface imitation of her dialogue. Also, 10,000 years, I've been, you know, all Talisa.
Oh gosh, she does that.
But she doesn't.
Mortal Kombat
She does
Scarface.
a Al Pacino Scarface accent, which is the funniest thing I've ever seen. I wish we didn't have cell phone back then, so I couldn't record it. But it was the funniest thing. I mean, she just had with all of it. She's such a simple girl and kind and just.
And that's why I think in 2002 she retired and
she always wanted to be.
She's married to Benjamin Bratt, right?
She always wanted to have a family. That we know. Constantly, every time she sees a little kid, oh, so cute, I want one. So,
well, you know, is she? Do you know when the last time you saw her was, or kept in touch, or you know?
Not really. I think Linden said Benjamin surfed like in Paradise.
Yeah, Benjamin's a surfer for sure.
So they live in
I feel like Benjamin Bratt and Linden Ashby would be buddies.
Oh yeah.
Surfing
No,
pals.
I'm sure Benjamin is like an amazing guy, just because he has that persona of a really, really cool guy. So I'm sure he is cool. I mean, of course, if Talisa married him, he's cool.
Yeah. Well, going into Annihilation, you were the full-on choreographer.
Right.
You talked a bit about choreography, but like, just when the sequel came about, how did you sign up for what? When did you say, all right, well, I'm back? I mean, what was your mind like when Linden's out? Let there be light. But Linden's out, you know, Bridget's in, but once you got the pegs together, and this is what we're doing, and the amazing, I have to say, Musetta Vander and especially Sandra Hess, just sweethearts, delights, and have not aged a day either. You know, there's twice as many fights in the second movie. What was there challenges going in as a choreographer, an actor?
Well, I mean, of course, I was heartbroken when I heard Linden wasn't in it.
Yeah, I think I was 7 and I asked for ice cream. So.
And they were like replacing Bridget, and of course, I mean, I got to know these guys really well. So of course, like you want to go on, continue the journey together. Mm-hmm. So when I heard Linden wasn't in, I was like, oh, why? But then I couldn't do anything. I'm just an actor. But when they came to me and asked if I would choreograph the film, of course, you know, like I love that more than acting, to be honest, because choreography is really an art. It's like directing.
Yeah.
So then, so it was challenging because we have to top the first movie.
Did you know when it comes to one thing that a lot of the fans asked when they sent out to ask questions was about the sets. So when you're setting a fight scene, you have to use those sets. You have to use that wall, those stairs.
I was involved in designing the set because each area of the set there's a specific reason for that set. Like I was hands-on developing.
Hang on one second. Ryan, Keith.
I think you like 5 minutes. I think this.
I know. Give me 2 more. But yeah. But no.
No. Because like
I'm listening. I just don't want
to. For the Scorpion fight, I was really hands-on desiging Chris set, and I was really hands-on designing on the.
See, that's amazing. But that comes from something I learned the other day, last week, a few weeks when I saw you, was that you're an engineer. Yeah. You know, that's kind of like.
Well, and also like
I've
been doing these action movies for so long. You know, because I always believe it's not about the fight, it's the storytelling and where you're at. I always believe in using the environment. I mean, an environment has to do. I mean, you know, I hate.
No, it's. I mean, I have to commend. It's people can't look past in Annihilation, the fact like Linden and gone.
Yeah.
But if you really look at the fight sequences, which there's so many more fights, you utilize the everything. Like the kind of four-way fight on the staircase with Shou Kahn, Ermac, Sindel, and Motaro. You utilize everything, and I think it's yeah. I mean, I'm trying to think with the sequel, was there also anything that was left out that you wanted? That you
Oh yeah, no. Well,
Tell the spiders. Were you prepared to hang upside down with spiders?
No, well, beside that,
you don't even like to talk about it.
Yeah.
You just like.
Beside
There's
that,
originally one of
right.
Nightwolf's tests was to hang upside down with spiders.
Yeah, but they kept that. They couldn't get spiders in Thailand. So, but my fight scene with Shou Kahn, we cut a lot of things out.
Okay.
With Shou Kahn, which I really love.
Can you remember anything?
Oh yeah, of course. Remember nowadays, like you know how Marvel, like you know the Avengers, you know how Black Widow does all these spinning, climb up on the guy, climb up on somebody's shoulders, flip, and all that thing. Mm-hmm. We had that within the Shou Kahn movie, in the Shou Kahn fight. I did those already, but the studio says that looked like WWE. Mm-hmm. Well, it really depends on how you look at it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so then if you add the martial arts move and some of that, it's totally logical. So then, because he's such a strong guy, I figured like he could pick me up with like one hand, so why wouldn't he pick me up and throw me?
Yeah. No, I love that one flip kick, and they'll probably like cut to a video of it and edit what I just said out. But I love when you flip kick over Brian Thompson's head and you flip his body. Right. But that stunt every time I was sitting next to you during Annihilation, I was like, oh, that just. It looks like you really went more brute.
That's
with the
one
sequel.
shot. That's a one shot deal because I run up the wall again, turn around, I kick his face with my left leg, and then scissored his neck with my right leg, and then we do a scissor.
It looks scary.
It's one move.
And something I want to go back to really quick, friend, is the sets. We're in a day and age with, I love James Cameron, I love what you can do with CGI and green screen, but like the mess hall in like the first film or the final battle plateau in Annihilation, that's real.
Right.
How much of this was green screen? Because we don't have behind the scenes.
Nothing, and that's why if you watch today's heavy special effect movie, like like all these superhero, there's no power. It's missing the power, right? Like you punch, you kick, there's no power. You don't feel it because it's CG.
Yeah.
So, but our film, you can feel the punch and the kick because it's real.
Yeah.
And we shot at 24 frames per second.
Yeah.
Per minute, 24 frames. So that's a normal speed. We didn't sped any fight, any move, like 22. We did not speed anything up. So we fought in a normal speed because we're good. We do it cleanly and we do it fast.
Did with using practical stuff, you would think that they would have been a little bit smarter about how they handled all the characters and everything with Annihilation, bringing somebody in, taking somebody out. But ultimately, in the end, did you have direct input, or were you just so focused on choreography and everything else with saying, there's too many fights,
Well, no,
there's not enough
it's
fights,
too,
maybe Melina should say something?
It was too convoluted with character because they were so in a desperate.
Yeah.
I don't know, to add all the character because they don't want to piss off fans. So they include all the character from the games, but then they don't do anything.
To me, it's a catch-22.
Exactly. So
it's like you get to see them, and as a kid when I was 7, it's like that's great. Cyrax, Sonya, and Jay and Jax fight in this awesome factory, and I'm glad I get to see him. But wait, I don't get to know him.
Well,
I don't get to know anything about him.
Because I did the choreography. I have 1,000 storyboards for the entire film.
See, this is important information. This is something I'm going to point out because if there's storyboards or things that you have, I, as well as all the fans, we want a DVD or a Blu-ray that has all these special features. Like the alternate ending to Annihilation, which you said you were on set. You just popped up one day and then they're filming
I
a third
had
movie.
Quan Chi. I was like, who's that guy?
It wasn't in the script.
It was. I don't think so.
It was him that was in the early draft,
it?
and they took it out.
Okay.
But yeah, so you can prove you were there that day. That ending was filmed,
Right.
and they were gonna.
I had no idea because I wasn't in. I saw it. I go, what?
Yeah.
Okay, what are they doing? Okay.
They even pulled you from like Baraka's fight,
Right.
and it was Ray Park, right?
Right.
So most people.
No,
were
Tony Jaa.
Tony Jaa. It was Tony Jaa, yeah.
Tony Jaa.
Tony Jaa was pretty much the whole
for
Baraka
the
fight.
whole entire Baraka fight.
Is there any other fights that are like that?
He did my very last kick to Shou Kahn, the little backflip kick.
Oh,
Tony
okay.
Jaa did.
Was that straight off the ground?
That
There
is
was no.
straight up. He is
there's
such
no,
an amazing athlete.
Was there, how much wire work was
There's
involved?
nothing. We didn't have time.
Well,
to
I
do-
think that one shot in Annihilation with Smoke when he blows the missile and you flip.
Oh,
and you're
yeah,
like,
yeah. No, I mean, like in Thailand. Yeah, I wasn't too crazy about that.
No, I
it
get
looked
the-
like, it looked
during
like
the
a
screening.
wire thing.
At
That's
the
what
screening,
wire-
you were like.
I wasn't too happy because, like I said, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
But then that was that's a creative input.
It has been a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Studio set.
I guess in the end, you know, you only got to do 2 of these movies. When was there talk of a third movie? If there was, we always heard the title Devastation, like
Right.
back in like 2004, 2005.
I mean, yeah, there's always been talk, and there's so many like news out there saying like we're gonna do the movie, we're gonna do
Yeah.
the movie. But then, you know, honestly, it's not
Was it ever really that close?
I don't know because I'm just an actor.
Yeah.
That's the production side. So Larry Kasanoff would know. I wouldn't know.
Well, he's somewhere, probably hiding from me.
He's
But
probably, yeah.
He knows
But
I'll
then,
hit
you
him
know,
with
I'm sure, like, but then, you know, why wouldn't you do a third one if the first 2 were so successful? Even though the second one was
the
pretty
second,
good.
the second one, it still did.
It still did really
its
well.
job
It did
worldwide
really
and
well,
everything. And I guess, you know, a lot of fans should also know too that there was a plan for Beverly Hills Ninja 2
Yes.
with Chris Farley, and a lot of people don't know that. I wanted to point that out. But in the end, you know, you're a family man. I've gotten to know you as that, and that's where you're definitely.
I'm thinking about my
You're
kids
building.
now.
You're building Batmobiles, man.
I'm thinking about my kids. Like, what are they doing? Are they in bed now? Or, you know?
Yeah, I know, right? But what is your son like? Because I remember, I will say something that your son is quite the energetic one
Yes,
at times.
very energetic.
He's got the martial arts in him.
He's
and
very energetic.
Why, to get to know more about you, Robin, as a person, why was it that you know, like Keith is here tonight and Chris has a studio and a teaching? How come you didn't turn to teaching?
I don't feel he's ready.
No, well, I mean, yeah. You know, are you? Well, if he wants to get into it, you're gonna support that, or?
I don't know.
I was asking more along the lines of, are you, why, like when if you, after acting kind of, you put it on pause, a lot of these martial artists, it's normal, they have, a lot of the Power Rangers, they built their own studio.
Oh, I see.
And how come you never?
I don't know. I don't feel
Sometimes the parents are,
in
most of the time, they're not.
schools and
The other thing is
businesses.
common history, which is why
I think you told me once it's something that I don't really feel like should be taught. You should
Yeah,
explain
I would teach someone for free. It's hard for me to
it.
charge
To
someone.
take $85 for a Saturday
It's
session.
it's really hard for me to charge people for martial arts. That's not because I'm so passionate. I love it. That's my lifestyle. So then for me to charge people for martial arts, I mean, of course, that, I'm speaking about myself, not like.
No, and it's understandable. It's something that you love so much that it's a gift that you can give someone.
If I
You don't
could
charge
give-
for that
exactly,
gift. Yeah, if you could gift a high punch, low kick,
Exactly.
uppercut, then you can, you know. And I guess the final question was one of the guys we have to give a shout out to Justin Gearing and Ryan Bush of Mortal Kombat Online. But one of the big ones was that back in '97 they had the Sub-Zero Mythologies game come out.
Right.
And you were doing kind of an E3 like video game circuit thing.
Right.
So was that something? So did you actually get into the games at all? Or,
You know, I never did.
or is that part of like your contract? Because a lot of people don't realize those games came out at the same time and
Right,
they
well,
cross-promoted it.
It was like they wanted me to promote the film and the game, and I go, okay, all right, fine, because they're kind of related.
Did you know anyone really from the game? You know, I don't come from the game side of it, but
I met
Daniel
people.
Pacina
I
and
met
like
people, but I don't really remember them.
yeah, it was 20.
Right, there were a lot of people in the game.
And at the end of this, you've had this long career. You're settling down, I think, in film, if true, you know. If Paul Anderson had his dream wish when I saw him at Sushi a month ago, you know, him and Linden have both mentioned that if they do another movie, there should be some sort of homage or reference or something. Would you do a cameo?
I'll be Raiden.
I'll
be the elder god, man. I won the tournament. Shouldn't I be the elder god now?
Yeah.
Like Raiden. You know, Raiden would be like the higher god, but then I'm Raiden. What Raiden was.
So you would do a cameo.
Oh, yeah, because
you would do anything. You would get out if you retired in 2 years.
Oh yeah.
They said come back. You would get back out.
Oh yeah,
right?
absolutely. Yes.
And in this career, I think you have 100 credits in your lifetime of cinema, but Mortal Kombat, it's got to rank #1, right?
It's still
or it's up. I mean,
Well,
you have a family from it. Your whole life seems to.
Paul told me it's like one of the top grossing movies still.
Yeah, it's long. It had like the longest longevity.
Yeah.
Like video sales, it was just you couldn't rent it. And I remember I was 5 years old and I would walk into the video store hoping that it
get
was
to a video store
exactly.
5 year old.
Well, I had to say mommy. But you know, mommy, please. But you know, it was one of those things. And back then, VHSs, I don't know if you remember, they weren't like these. They were like $100.
Yeah.
You could only rent movies. You couldn't buy them immediately. So I remember we had it checked out for so many days. They finally just said you have to pay $100 for the tape.
That's right, $100.
It was like $106.99.
Like Blockbuster,
It was
right?
Blockbuster, yeah. But you know, I love you, man. You're an awesome dude, and you're a stand-up gentleman, family man, and you're, you know, savior of the world in the realm of
Thank you.
So thank you, buddy.
So what's happening tomorrow?
Awesome.
Tomorrow is going to be just this.
Okay, so I moved to LA about 10 years ago. And I was doing a lot of screenings. I thought it was fun. You stand in line, see a movie early, whatever. And one of those movies, you happened to be at the Sony lot, and I was there, and I recognized you as the producer of Mortal Kombat. And you won't remember this, and I didn't really tell you the story when I saw you come in, but they make you put your phone and your camera or whatever. And when I was 18 in Hollywood, I traveled everywhere with a camera. Right. Okay. But basically, it was in my car, and I ran up to you and I said, "Hey, when I get my camera phone back, will you let security know that I can come back and bring my camera and just get a photo with you?" And you actually said yes. And so I still have that photo. It's somewhere.
That's great.
It's somewhere on MySpace.
That's
so.
Oh well.
But it's still there. Right? Yeah. No. And I actually have to say, and everyone who might see this would know, in my honest way, I am a bigger fan of the second movie. Robin, I've done 8 events with him now. He knows it.
There you go.
We did the 20th anniversary screening of it. And I feel like it's one of those things where it's a yin and yang, because like so many of my favorite characters are in that movie for an awesome fight scene.
Okay.
But it's underrated. I feel
Which is
like.
your fight scene you like?
The 2 fight scenes that I like the most are Cyrax and Melina, the mud fight, which was the first fight you filmed.
Yeah. I actually directed second unit of that fight.
You actually directed second unit?
Yeah.
And you were also making another movie, I think it was Beowulf, with Christopher Lambert?
That
Or
was way later.
Okay, it was later. Okay, I want to clarify that. No, the mud fight. I mean, how can you not? You know,
it wasn't supposed to be a mud fight. What happened was we were shooting in the copper mine in Wales, and a hurricane struck, and we had to, we were traveling all over the world making the movie, so we had to do it. And the girl who was in the movie, Dana He, who was doing it, was still a great friend of mine. I was in an Arctic snowsuit, and Dana was in that little Melina costume. It was like 0 degrees, hurricane in
That's
hand.
what I heard. Sandra was at the
too,
reunion.
yeah.
She was like, "You don't understand how cold it was.
Those girls
it was
were
so
such
cold."
But I directed most of that fight. Those girls were such troopers, unbelievable. I love that fight.
I was gonna ask you, what out of both movies, what's your favorite fight of each film?
Of the first 2 movies, I think it's the Scorpion, Johnny Cage fight, and I think it's the fight with Robin and Keith, the Reptile fight. Of the second movie, it's that fight.
Yeah.
I should say that. The second movie too. No, there was a great fight between Sub-Zero and Scorpion.
Yeah.
Where we did it. I shot that fight too. Where we did
He talks about how that was like on Salt, and
it
was crazy, that bridge.
We did the bridge, and it was you could fall. I mean, the London. It was crazy, but they did a shot where they both jumped and they both flipped and one hit the other. That's one of the best shots in the whole series.
Yeah, no,
And those guys were such troopers.
I mean,
they had to do it over and over and over and over again. It was such a pain in the ass to them.
Yeah, no, I mean, you have a very big, ambitious play with Annihilation, but going back to the first film in the beginning as a producer, you know, there was the Street Fighter movie, there was Double Dragon, but then this was the one. And I still stand by that, while Annihilation's my favorite video game movie, I think the first one is better in terms of like storyline.
I agree.
But the second one's funner to watch for me.
Yeah, it was very ambitious.
But the point is with the first one, had you played the game? What was your favorite character? Had you?
Well, I played the game a lot. I played the game all summer trying to decide whether or not to license it. You know what turned me? I wanted to do it. I knew I should do it. And I went to an arcade, and a little kid slapped down a quarter and looked up to me and challenged me. And then
How old? Like you're like a 3 foot?
Yeah, like 11. And I played Sub-Zero, he played Scorpion. He beat the hell out of me. Scorpion wins. And the kid was so empowered, I thought, whoa, look how this can empower this kid. I made the deal the next day.
Yeah. Well, what about casting the original Trinity? You know, I actually met Cameron Diaz back 10 years ago at ArcLight Hollywood, where she was introducing There's Something About Mary, the 10-year anniversary.
Right.
And I was the only one to apparently ever ask her about Mortal Kombat.
What'd she say?
But I said I heard on IMDb for all these years you broke your wrist and that hindered something. And I just said, what is?
Right.
And she said, and I told her, I was like, after seeing Charlie's Angels, I thought she would have made an amazing Sonya.
Right.
But she said that she just fell out of auditions. That she broke her wrist during auditions, and that.
No, so we had earmarked Cameron to play Sonya from day one. No offense to anyone else, we just always wanted Cameron from the.
And that's coming off the mask, like right boom.
But we had the same casting director, the same studio. We wanted her. She was her part, and she came into training, and she was just a freak thing. She just went like that, and she just didn't. She just fractured her wrist, and so she couldn't do it. And you know, I mean, you know, Bridget was great, but it was really that we just always had Cameron from day one. Yeah, but you know, what can you do? Look, it is a martial arts movie, and these people train.
Okay, they're telling me to turn this around. Okay.
Much better.
There we
now
go.
we're efficient.
I'm Corey. This is Larry. Yeah, no, I geeked out when I got to ask her a Mortal Kombat question. I think I love
great.
Bridget. I have to say,
Bridget was great too. But here's the problem with Bridget. The problem
I actually
Bridget,
love Sandra more.
Well, the problem Bridget had is that we grabbed her like she didn't have to get the training everyone else had.
Did she film Billy Madison before or
Before.
after? Before.
But the problem was she didn't have the training because, you know, Cameron broke her wrist rather late, and then we had to grab her, and she was doing Last Action Hero, and so she didn't get the training. She was such a trooper. The fight she had in Thailand,
With Kano.
oh, it was great, and she
No,
had
I
no
love
training.
that.
Yeah.
What about things that are, you know, I've read the original script of the first film. I've seen the trailer a million times. I own a 35mm film print
where'd you get
of
that?
the film. Paul Anderson is like, I don't have that.
I don't have that either.
Yeah, but I actually bought it on a fan site for $100 when I was 14. And every birthday I rent out a theater at late at night and I run trailers with it. But no, the thing is there's the DVDs are so bare bones. There's no commentaries. The Laserdisc has a commentary, but the DVD and the Blu-ray have nothing, no behind the scenes anything. But like even like You Can't Run From Me, Shang, that line that's in the trailer. I asked. It was the first thing when I did these events with Robin and Linden was like, was there anything that was shot that was deleted? Something not in the script, but that was shot. Can you think of anything that's significant value?
By the way, there is a great behind the scenes we did for
on TNT.
Yeah.
Oh,
And there's
yes.
also a book.
Thank
So
you,
there's
Justin Deering.
No, we didn't. I can't remember anything.
But it's so hard. Like you'd have to like illegally bootleg that TNT special. I feel like there's all these. Yeah, there's like all these things that you could that people But the thing is with the game still selling and being popular, and I have to ask. do you think we'll ever see, we know it was confirmed and it was in the script, the ending, and I asked you this 10 years ago. Let's see if you say the same answer. But that ending with Quan Chi and Shinnok at the end.
And not talk about future Mortal Kombat movies.
Okay, that's what I figured. But that was a past one. That's already been filmed.
No. There's.
I mean, there was a third. There was supposed to be a third one, right?
There's nothing I can recall in either movie that was an actual scene that was cut. I mean, we trim things when you shoot, but no, there was nothing we planned that I can recall that we didn't put in the movie.
Okay, except for like just one-liners that might have been in a scene.
I mean, you edit scenes.
Down.
There wasn't like, oh, the big scene that then never made the movie that we didn't have.
Looking back at the first film and the second film, what's one thing that you would have liked to have added or taken away?
The second film, I feel, as the producer, was a bit of a perfectionist in this area, that we never really got to finish the effects. I was never.
Please talk about. I was actually hoping you would go there, because here's the thing. We all know that the animality scene isn't the greatest CGI explosion in the world, but the thing is, I love it. I love the Hydra, but Liu Kang's dragon looks a little...
Here's what happened. You know, Mortal Kombat became so successful. Remember, it wasn't just movies and video games. It was TV shows, DVDs. This was the first...
Comic books, lunchboxes.
This was the first electronic dance music album that went platinum. It became so successful. So when we tested an early cut of the movie where the effects weren't finished, the test scores were through the roof. And New Line said, "Congratulations, we're hit, we're done." I'm like, "We're not done, we haven't finished the effects." They said, "These numbers, you finished, buddy." And it did open number one. You gotta understand, Annihilation,
16.5 million.
Annihilation beat Anastasia. It beat Clint Eastwood.
Well, that's part of...
It beat Clint Eastwood's Midnight in the Garden of Evil. So, from a business point of view, New Line was right. It was done. From a perfectionist producer point of view, we never finished the effects.
And that's part of the story why I tell Robin it's so special, is that I'm from Baton Rouge, Louisiana, which there was the rumor, and I remember Chris and it being in the paper back in like 2005. There may be filming the third movie, but back in '97, I was only 7. And we didn't have a stadium seating theater. And I had seen the first movie a million times, but the day that Annihilation came out, November 21st, 1997, of course, my powers are untapped. So. But no, that was our stadium seating opened, and it was in the one big theater that held like 500 people. And I remember seeing the trailer to Dark City. So I think being 7 and all that, and experiencing my first theater, seeing a movie like that, that's why I'm way more impactful into Annihilation.
That's great. Yeah,
and it works. Whatever works.
Annihilation was a blast. We had such an ambitious movie. We traveled all over the world.
That's what I'm saying.
We were the first.
And they're real sets.
We were the first crew ever to shoot in Jordan with an Israeli, Jordanian, English, American crew. We did so many things in that movie that was so first, and it was a huge opener, but I feel we just never really got to finish the effects the way I wanted to.
Well,
so that's when they started.
No, and I think that's fair, and I've heard that before. Yeah. But I'm gonna give my as to end this interview Q&A, whatever this is, hangout time for me, I guess. But I'm going to give a public defend on Annihilation, because I feel like by 1995 we had only really had the first 2 games. We only had like 12 characters to work with. And the fans want this, and the fans want Tyrex, and they want Melina, and they want this, and they want that. And ultimately, 1997 rolled around, we had Mortal Kombat Trilogy. You're talking almost 50 characters. How do you in 90, 100 minutes put in, and if you don't put them in, they're gonna complain, and if you don't do it, so yes, there's faults and there's mistakes on every movie, but I have to say that I would rather see Cyrax kick ass for 7 minutes, or Melina in a mud fight with Sonya, or Scorpion and Sub-Zero fight each other in an epic 2-minute battle, than not see it at all.
That's exactly right.
That's kind of how I feel.
You gotta pick. Being a producer or something like that is being a really good editor. You gotta pick, and you just gotta pick what you
Does that feel a little good to hear from?
It feels great. Thanks, buddy. You should come around every place I go.
Well, thank you very much, Larry.
My pleasure.
And it was
Glad you enjoyed it.
Nice.
Thank you so much.
10 years later, in 2 weeks, I make my 10-year mark. So it's kind of funny.
Fantastic.
I met you, and now,
that's great.
So maybe I'll see you in 10. So.
Maybe even before.
All right.
All right. Thanks, man.
All right. Thank you.